number of people I've been talking to in the last week that have had panic attacks. And I mentioned this to someone, and I said, I just was talking to someone, and they're talking about panic attacks. And the person said, my daughter has panic attacks now all the time. She never had these. And now she, and it's tightness of the chest. It's like people feel like they're having a heart attack. They're truly scared, and then that escalates things. That's that whole doctor of life thing where,
Well, funnily enough, a lot of my patients used to come to me about things that weren't really medicine, and a lot of them were just life issues, and they just wanted to talk it through. And yes, they can have knock-on effects into giving you real physical symptoms, but sometimes they just wanted to talk or to get out of their everyday life, to just check in with somebody. And so I had a lot of life patients, as it were. And yet, I think at the moment, the situation, people aren't coping. We had this conversation 12 months ago, and it's only been compounded by the fact that COVID is still going on. People thought once they had the vaccine, that was it, they'd have their freedom, they'd get reunited with their family and friends. They still aren't. And I know, gosh, even myself, as soon as, I think it was just before the 17th of May. Hang on, 17th of May is today. So today, everything in the UK was supposed to open up with regards to travel. And we all knew deep down it wasn't going to happen. But the minute they pinpointed our region, the UAE, as being an area that was indefinitely going to stay on the red list, and that meant you can't go back home unless you have to do a hotel quarantine. Gosh, I know it's affected me and lots of my friends. So even from personal experience, I can understand. So yeah, there's a lot of panic attacks, and we get loads of panic attacks into A&E, by the way, lots of them. And sometimes there is a really fine line between, is this a panic attack? Is it a heart attack? And it's not until you start doing appropriate testing that you can actually figure out which one it is.
Yeah, no, it's deep breaths, deep breaths. And as you said, and with the timing that we're doing this podcast today, I found the amount of time that I now start investing in myself. And that's just doing a little bit of exercise, or, a little bit of a run, scale that back up, scale that down, started swimming again, which is just fantastic. Got back in the water and did a kilometer, and it was just, why have I not been swimming recently? So I was really happy with that. And then just getting a little workout in. It's amazing how that changes your mindset. And I know people are going, come on. It's like, no, I do a little circuits, a little bit of swimming, and I feel so much better just in that disposition when I'm looking at work and I'm thinking of things and I'm looking at the world around me. It's amazing. It's self-care. We need to be a little selfish and say, yeah, I need that half hour, I need that 45 minutes for myself to go and do X, Y, Z just to keep the brain focused.
And that's so true. Exercise is definitely, it's the best medication for anxiety and depression, for sure. However, I think sometimes people get a bit put off at getting into it, especially if they are suffering with anxiety or depression. And sometimes you've got to think, right, maybe I'm not up for that big run, or I can't face going to an exercise class with people around. So just think, what could I do today? And maybe a brisk walk might be day one. And then you think, oh, actually, I feel a bit better after that. And maybe day two, you can add something else in. Do it in your bedroom, do it in your jumper, do it in your baggy t-shirt, whatever way helps you to get on the ladder of exercise will really help. Because once somebody is at the point where they're having a panic attack, it's actually much harder to talk them down and reverse it. These people generally feel like they're dying. Their throat might feel tight. They don't feel like they can get their breath in. And it's very hard to tell someone in that mindset, you're absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Just take deep breaths. So it's almost like, let's try and prevent it first.
And it doesn't go away right away either. That's one of the things that I've noticed is when people are having panic attacks, they have it, and all of those physiological things, they hang around for days. And it's really hard when someone wakes up in the morning and they're still feeling, did they call this right? What's going on with me? Why is this still here? Why am I not feeling my normal, jovial, plasticine self? So I think...
Sorry, James.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's hard to think about it. If you get yourself to such an extreme point in your general physical health, that you stop being able to function. So say you've had a really bad illness, there'll be an incline to feeling so bad, and then there'll be a decline to back to your normal health status. So if your mental health and your anxiety gets so bad that you're inclined all the way to the point that you feel like you're dying and you can't cope anymore, the world is almost ending, this fear of impending doom, then you have to go all the way back again. And I've spoken to quite a lot of patients and friends who were suffering quite badly with depression. And I think, as I say to them, you've got to just ride it out, accept it's not going to get better the next day, 2 days, 3 days. It's the long term, but it will get better. Just sit with it, accept it, acknowledge what it is, and accept that at some point either medication or talking therapies, whatever it is, will kick in and you will start to feel better, but it takes time. And I said to you before, just before we started to record, how impatient I am for various different things in my life. We're all impatient, and as patients, we're impatient as well.